Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. We're right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're watching for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you're watching for the 10th, 20th, 30th time, and you don't subscribe to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network YouTube channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well. I am on social media. You can follow me on Twitter at Shooting Up North, Instagram at Alliance PW Network, and we are on Facebook. Feel free to join our Facebook group, the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. And if you want one of these t-shirts, they are now available. Our debut t-shirt. Just go to our YouTube channel. At the top, you will see the Shooting Up North banner. Look to the bottom right-hand corner. You will see the Shooting Up North merchandise link. Will take you to our whatamaneuver.net page where you too can order one of these t-shirts. If you're in a colder environment, I don't know if you live up in Alaska, you need a hoodie. We have hoodies up there. We have tank tops. If you're in Florida, we have toddler shirts. We have women's shirts. We have baby onesies. Head on over whatamaneuver.net, link bottom right-hand corner of our banner on the channel, and you too can own one of these t-shirts, our debut t-shirt. And thank you, everybody. Thank you to every single person that has purchased a t-shirt up until now. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Okay, so we're back. We're returning. We're making a return to reviewing MLW Fusion. I put up a poll, and it was overwhelming. I put up a poll asking if you wanted me to start reviewing MLW Fusion, and I got an overwhelming yes vote from many, many, many followers of many subscribers to our YouTube channel. So we're back. We're back. We took some time away from MLW Fusion, but we're back. So let's get into it. This is the Shooting Up North MLW Fusion podcast review. We will be reviewing, of course, the latest episode of MLW Fusion, which debuted June 16th on YouTube. 3 matches in this one. We got Gangrel versus Bud Heavy. We have an MLW Tag Team Championship 3-way match. It is the champions, EJ and Duca, and Calvin Tankman versus 5150 versus the Von Erichs, and also the first ever MLW Featherweight World Champion will be crowned as Taya Valkyrie goes one-on-one against Holidead. So we have 3 matches in this one. So let's get into it. The show opens last week. Cesar Duran's office was broken into. This week, we find out that it was Jacob Fatu and Juicy Finau who had broken into Cesar Duran's office. They broke into his office, did some shenanigans. Sat down in his seat. Juicy Finau sat down slowly because he was afraid he was going to break the seat. They serenaded a picture of Cesar Duran. They stole some money. So they just ransacked his whole office. And Cesar Duran, he appears, he comes back, and he's naturally pissed, and he wants revenge on Fatu and Finau. So he's pissed, but Ty Valkyrie eventually shows up. Call Cesar Duran Dario, which is a reference to Lucha Underground, which Cesar Duran quickly corrects her. So no, it's Cesar. And she wants to make sure that in her title match tonight to crown the first ever MLW World Featherweight Champion, MLW Women's Featherweight World Champion, that there will be no interference from Strange Sangre, the faction that Holidead is a part of. And Cesar Duran says that he will do what he can. So then we go to match 1. And speaking of Strange Sangre, Gangrel, the leader of that group, and he takes on Bud Heavy, one-on-one with Bud Heavy in match number 1. His faction, Strange Sangre, accompanies him to the ring. Holidead is there as well. And wasn't expecting much in this one. Was expecting just a squash match, and that's basically what we got. They started brawling at first, and I thought maybe we're gonna get a competitive match here. Maybe we're going to get somewhat of a competitive match, because every time Bud Heavy landed a blow or got in a little bit of offense, the crowd kind of popped them, and they were behind Bud Heavy. but it just turned into a squash match. I think it was less than 2 minutes long, and Gangrel hits an Impaler DDT to win the match. I was expecting a squash, and that's exactly what we got. Simple squash match. And after the match, Strange, Sangre all attacked Bud Heavy in the ring, then outside the ring. Match was what it was, right? Nothing special, just a squash match. I don't know, maybe there's nothing exciting. Maybe Strange Sangre is going to get somewhat of a bit of a push, or maybe a stronger push going forward. We saw them all attacking Bud Heavy. I don't know. Could Bud Heavy join the group? I doubt it. I don't think so. But yeah, the match was nothing special. Just a squash match, and watch the match. You're expecting a squash match, and you got a squash match, and we're gonna leave it at that. Not gonna talk about it anymore. Bud Heavy, though, is very, very likable enhancement talent. I just want to point that out there. I'm a fan of Bud Heavy. A lot of Bud Heavy fans in the crowd there as well. I'd like to see Bud Heavy get somewhat of a push, but we'll see. We'll see if that ever happens. But anyway, after that, we get a recap of the issue between Jacob Fatu and Cesar Duran, and then next week we'll find out that Mads Kruger versus Jacob Fatu in a Weapons of Mass Destruction match. So next week, MLW Fusion, we get Mads Kruger versus Jacob Fatu, again, Weapons of Mass Destruction. We also find out that next week we're also going to get a three-way match for the MLW Middleweight Championship, as Myron Reed, the champion, defends against Casey Navarro and Erichs. That should be just a fantastic match. Just a fantastic match. So that's one definitely to look forward to, without a doubt. So then we go into the MLW Tag Team title match. It's EJ and Duca, Calvin Tankman, the champions, Hustle and Power, versus 5150 Rivera and Hernandez versus Marshall and Ross Von Erich. But before we got into the match, we got Alicia Atout. We got a heel Alicia Atout. Well, we know she's a heel, but she's interviewing the Von Erichs and asks why they're friends basically with Hammerstone. And they talk for a bit. Alicia Atout attempts to be a heel, attempts to be annoying here. And the Von Erichs promptly they say that you have an agenda. And Alicia Atout is like, I have an agenda. Are you listening to me? And the Von Erichs end the interview and they walk off. I'm sorry, Alicia Atout, great interviewer. I don't think she's a very good heel. That's my opinion. She's not a natural heel. She's trying to be a heel. It doesn't come naturally to her, and she's trying hard, and it seems obvious that she's trying maybe a little too hard to be a heel. I don't know. You have like Selena De La Renta. Selena De La Renta is a natural heel. She doesn't have to try to be a heel. It comes naturally to her. Roddy Piper was a natural heel. He didn't have to work on being a heel because he was a natural heel. Alicia Atout is not a natural heel. You could tell she's trying to be a heel, and it for me, other people might feel differently, but for me, it just doesn't come across very well. I don't think she does a good job. I mean, she's a great interviewer, but as a heel, not a fan of. Doesn't come across well. That's just the way I see it. So. Just want to be honest. That's people will disagree with me, which is fine. But I just, there's one thing, you try to be a heel compared to naturally being a heel, and she's not a natural heel. That's just my opinion there. So we get into the match. Rivera gets on the mic and puts down the crowd, mocks the crowd, puts down the Von Erichs, and the Von Erichs eventually hit the ring, and they brawl with Rivera Hernandez, and they're brawling before EJ and Duca and Calvin Tankman are even introduced. Induka and Tankman eventually are introduced. They come to the ring, and eventually we get a face-off between the Von Erichs and Induka and Tankman, which was very exciting. They face off against each other. I would like to see. I don't think they face each other yet for the MLW Tag Team titles, but I think that would be a terrific match. but you could just feel the electricity coming through the screen when they faced off, and they brawled for a bit. Then we had great action in this one. This was actually a very exciting match. There was a botch, though. Calvin Tankman botched a clothesline. Hernandez tried to clothesline him to the outside, but it was kind of botched by Tankman. Hernandez grabbed him and threw him to the outside. More action took place. They brawled. They were brawling on the outside. Actually, Los Maximos were actually where they were doing Spanish announcing, and they had the announce table was ringside, right in front of the ring, so you knew something was going to happen with Los Maximos. And something did. They were actually taken out. As they were brawling outside, Tankman and Duca, they took out Los Maximos. They got taken out, and the match continued, man. The match continued, and we had some really, like I said, we had some good fast-paced action. Calvin Tankman, Marshall Von Erich, they had a nice forearm exchange. Let me turn the page here. We had Rivera and Hernandez. They both hit dives to the outside. Marshall and Ross and Marshall Von Erich eventually hit an Iron Eagle to Hernandez through a table to the outside of the ring, which was a good spot. Tankman and Duca finally they end the match with a spike. Tankman driver to Rivera for the win. But this was a very good match. I really enjoyed this one. Lots of good action. They all worked hard, and it showed. I feel they all delivered in this match. And Duca and Tankman they're a monster team. And they're seemingly unbeatable. So the question is, who's going to dethrone them? I mean, you have a lot of tag teams, and the tag team division in MLW right now, I think, is very, very strong. You have EJ Duca and Tankman, the tag team champions. You got the Von Erichs. You have 5150. You have now the Samoan SWAT team. You have Los Maximos. You have what other tag team? There's actually another potential tag team that we might be seeing, but just the tag team division is very, very strong right now. Very, very, very strong right now in MLW. Post match, Los Maximos attack Hustle and Power, and they brawl. They brawl in the ring, they brawl to the outside, they brawl to the back. Los Maximos upset that they were taken out earlier in the match. But the tag team division, I said, very, very strong. I would love to see the Von Erichs against Tankman and Duke. I think that would be a great, great tag team match. I know the Von Erichs, they'll be facing the Samoan SWAT team at Battle Riots next week. Tag team division, very, very strong in MLW. Then we have a MLW. Speaking of Battle Riot, we have a Battle Riot update. We find out that La Estrella, Mads Kruger, Myron Reed, Ken Broadway, Warhorse, and Microman are all entered in the Battle Riot. And I'm making a prediction right now: Microman will not win the Battle Riots. He will not win the Battle Riot. Be hilarious if he did, though. So we have more entrants into the Battle Riot. And I'm going to be doing a Battle Riot preview and prediction show probably tomorrow or maybe on Monday. So keep your eyes open for that one. And after that, we got Myron Reed. I was talking about possibly another tag team. We got Myron Reed and David Richards backstage. They were in a segment. David Richards comes in. He offers Reed a spot on his team, and Reed agrees. They shake hands, and I'm thinking David Richards, the Myron Reed tag team, challenging for the MLW World Tag Team titles would be very interesting. So that's potentially another tag team right there. Richards and Reed team could be very, very interesting. I'm not saying that they are going to be a tag team, but there's potential. The potential is there for them to be a tag team, and I think that'd be great. But as of right now, Myron Reed joining David Richards' team, and we'll see where that goes from there. We get rules. We get the rules of the Weapons of Mass Destruction match, and then Mads Kruger gives a distorted voice promo. Again, hard to understand what he's saying. I watched it once. I guess if I watch it again and I listen closely, I'll probably make out what he's saying. But the distorted voice thing is it's a lot clearer than it used to be. But it's still the whole distorted voice promo is just I'm not a fan of it. But the match should be absolutely fantastic next week. Should be absolutely just an absolute all-out brawl next week between Jacob Fatu and Mads Kruger. And we get Killer Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux in a promo video. So it looks like Scarlett Bordeaux will be at Killer Cross's side when Killer Cross, Killer Cross has entered the Battle Riot. Scarlett Bordeaux also will be a part of Battle Riot. She has a match, I think, against Clara Carreras, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll be doing the preview and prediction show. Then then Enzo's car got dinged up. In this segment, we got Enzo's car gets dinged up. Somebody hit it, and it's interesting because Enzo looks at it, and then he immediately knows that it was done by a black Cadillac. So he starts yelling, "Anybody who drives a black caddy? Who drives a black?" How does he know it was a black Cadillac? How it could have been a black Ford Edge. How did you know? How did you know it was a black Cadillac? Did somebody write on the side of his truck that this was done by a black Cadillac? It is kind of strange that he knew immediately it was a black Cadillac. But he's searching for the person that hit his. He's looking for the person that drives a black Cadillac that hit his truck. So we'll find out who it is. I'm sure we'll find out who it is. Now maybe it was Jacob Fatu. Maybe when Jacob Fatu and Juicy Fatu were trying to escape from Cesar Duran's office before they got found out that they maybe they ran into his truck by accident. I don't know, but anyway, let's move on. Let's flip the page here, flip to the wrong page. So then we get a Richard Holiday segment. He's on the phone talking to a talent agency. He puts himself over as usual, and he says that he is the next MLW heavyweight champion. I agree. I think he will be. He will be the next MLW heavyweight champion. I'd be very surprised if Richard Holiday isn't the one to dethrone Alexander Hammerstone. Then we have match 3, the women's featherweight title match. It is to determine who will be the first ever MLW women's featherweight world champion. As I said, the two participants in this match, Taya Valkyrie, the current AAA Reina de Reinas champion, and she was wearing the belt as well, versus Holidead. Holidead actually came to the ring with Gangrel and Dr. Drax. So I guess Cesar Duran wasn't able to keep them from ringside. Earlier in the show, Valkyrie wanted Cesar Duran to ensure her that no one from Strange Sangre was going to interfere. But Gangrel, Dr. Drax accompanying Holidead to the ring. So Taya Valkyrie comes to the ring. The match starts. They lock up. They have a little feeling out process with a few arm locks. And then Taya Valkyrie hits a sliding German suplex. The action throughout the match. We actually went to a break after that, and then back from the break, they're battling on the outside. Holidead has the upper hand. Holidead controlling the match. She goes for 2 leg drops. She hits them. She goes for a third one. She misses the third one. Then Taya Valkyrie comes back with a flurry of offense. They end up on the outside. Holidead is able to hit the Darkness Falls on Taya on the outside of the ring. A number of near falls occurred in the match. Taya Valkyrie actually comes back with a double knee to the corner. We got a few more near falls. The end of the match actually came when Erichs runs to the ring, tries to interfere, but Taya Valkyrie quickly disposes of the threat. She curb stomps Holidead, locks on an STF, and gets a quick tap out from Holidead, and we have a new champion. Taya Valkyrie is crowned the first ever MLW Women's Featherweight World Champion. This match was good. Wasn't great. It was good. It had its moments. I wouldn't say it was a memorable match. It's not a match I would want to go back and watch again. But it was, I don't know. It's a world title match. It was to determine the first ever MLW Women's Featherweight World Champion. And my issue is I think Holidead tapped out way too quickly. I mean, the MLW Featherweight Championship is on the line. It's supposed to be a prestigious title, new title, MLW. You'll be the first ever MLW featherweight women's champion. And I would have liked that she held out, that she tried to get to the ropes, that maybe she got to the ropes and she was able to break it one time. But Taya Valkyrie locked it on again and holding on. Holidead trying her hardest to get out because that title's on the line. She wants that title. She wants to be the first champion. Tries to get to the ropes again. And as she's about to get to the ropes, maybe Taya Valkyrie rolls her over to the middle of the ring and really applies pressure. And Holidead just holding out, not wanting to give up. And then finally, unable to break the hold after like a few more minutes. Taya Valkyrie just securely locking that hold on. That Holidead finally just almost passing out because she wants to be champion, right? And she taps out at the end finally, and Taya Valkyrie wins. I think she tapped out way too quickly. It's like as soon as Taya Valkyrie locked it on, and she got the quick tap out, So I don't know. I guess I don't know if sense of urgency. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but it just didn't seem like there was any sense of urgency involved in that. I just didn't like that. I would have liked to see her Holidead hold out for longer, or like maybe some interference. Maybe a strange Sangre would try to interfere again, and Valkyrie disposes of them once again. Then locks on the STF again, and it just. I just thought I thought she tapped out way too fast, but nonetheless, like I said, it was a good match. It wasn't a great match, but nonetheless, I think it would have been a better match if they were able to get Willow Nightingale. I know Willow Nightingale was with MLW for a bit. I mean, if this was Taya Valkyrie versus Willow Nightingale, we would have had, in my opinion, not taking anything away from Holidead, I think it would have been a better match if it was Willow Nightingale against Taya Valkyrie for the MLW. Featherweight Championship, but it wasn't Willow Nightingale, it was Holidead, so there's nothing we could do to change that. But MLW got very lucky. They got very lucky that Taya Valkyrie became available, that she was released from the WWE, because putting the title on her, making her the first champion. It was a smart choice by Court Bauer. It was a great choice. She's a major name, and she immediately makes that belt and division legitimate. So they got very lucky with Taya Valkyrie, and of course, it was the smart move. It was the right move to put the belt on Taya Valkyrie, making her the first ever featherweight women's champion. And I'm curious. I know she's got a match coming up. I think I can't remember. I think it's Brittany Blake. If I got the name wrong, I'm sorry. I just don't have it in front of me. I know she has a title match coming up at Battle Riot. She'll be defending the title. But yeah, Taya Valkyrie, perfect choice to be the first ever MLW featherweight women's world champion. I'm mixing those words up. So it's MLW women's featherweight world champion, and again, MLW got very, very lucky, very lucky that Taya Valkyrie was available, and making her the first champ again was just the smart way to go. All right, so that's it. Next week we got some big matches. As I mentioned, we got the Weapons of Mass Destruction match, Jacob Fatu versus Max Kruger. We have the middleweight match, the middleweight title match, Myra Reed, the champion, defending against Casey Navarro and Arez. And yeah, next week should be a good show as well. And that's it. We're back. MLW Fusion review show. Shooting Up North, MLW Fusion. I'm speaking too fast, I guess, because I'm so excited. We're back. We're doing it again. So I'll be back next week with Shooting Up North, MLW review podcast. But until then, MLW Fusion review podcast. But until then, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.